Hello and welcome to Back to School Night. I'm Mr. Morrison, and this is Physics 1. And sorry that I can't be there tonight, but I'm dropping off my son at Cal Poly Pomona. It's his moving day, and he's going away to school. So I'll be missing school tomorrow, and I'll be back with your kids on a Wednesday. So let's get started here. This is Physics 1, and this picture you'll see a couple of basketball players, and that's because physics really is a skill. It's not about memorization. It's really about practice. And so you'll see I give homework often, but not large amounts. And so it's the same idea as if you were to not really practice basketball for a couple months, and then just the night before a big game try to cram in hours of practice the night before, and the next day it might not go so well. So physics is like that. You really benefits from daily practice. So hopefully they get that idea. We cover these units, some really interesting stuff here. One of the biggest things um, there were NASA's trying to put a man on the moon, and then with the idea that later on they're going to go to Mars. So that kind of fits in here in some of these places. Forces at a distance like gravity, forces in motion like how do you make a rocket go? Energy conversion is really interesting. Conversion of energy to electricity, for instance, nuclear processes, how do nuclear power plants work? How does your cell phone work with waves, electromagnetic radiation, of course, stars, and the origin of the universe? So those are the topics we study in physics of the universe. I want students to be curious. And so millions saw the apple fall, but Newton asked why. And so just be curious. And I think physics will be something that makes sense and answers a lot of questions, and hopefully have a little bit of fun if they actually are paying attention. So one thing about physics is that it's very much it is math based, but math really is the language of physics. And so some students think that why do we learn math? And this is the reason they learn the reason that to learn math, because we can use it here, we can apply it here. And so here's a story. All of our equations tell a story. All of our graphs tell a story, and I want students to be able to look at physics like it's storytelling. Even all the equations, I tell them it's a little bit like Albert Einstein and Sir Isaac Newton texting each other with LOL, right? It means something, and the equations also mean something. They tell a story. This story right here is Alan is the big brother. He gives his little brother Bob a two-house head start, but because Alan's faster, he passes Bob and wins the race. And so if you see math as a story, and if you see physics as a story, um, the math gets less daunting, and I think they will improve their math skills, and it'll be great for them in the world of math and learning about life and physics. So moving on, um, the class is set up so that they have notebooks which help them to um, prepare for quizzes, and they have quizzes which help them to prepare for the test, and then the test is the main part of their grade, and the notebook and the quizzes are the a little bit lower and the grade 60-40 split. So I don't like the busy work. So what I mean by that is the students think of the notebook sometimes as being busy work, but really, if you're practicing basketball, like I used the analogy before, the daily shooting is not busy work. It's so that when you get to the game, you can actually do it with high proficiency. And so the notebook leads to good quizzes. The quizzes lead to good exams. So there's really two websites that we use. It's Schoology, of course, and Sparky Science. Schoology has the guts of the class, of course, agendas, the unit folders, the calendar of events. But Sparky Science has quizzes, and really, this is the one thing that it would be if you really want to know if your student is keeping up and you want to help them keep up. You can just ask them, "Hey, can I take a look at this once in a while?" You'll need to watch it to see it with them, or they'll need to give you their password. But this list just kind of populates. It's there already, but the as they take quizzes, it'll pop in a 10 out of a 10 and a 9 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10. Really, I tell the students that they should have all 10s out of 10s, because these aren't really in-class quizzes per se. They're classes that they can take in class and outside of class. And the expectation is they take it as many times as they can to get it to the highest grade possible. And as long as they take the test before, take the quizzes before test day, then I'll award them the highest grade they get. If they don't take it before test day, that's a little bit of a problem. They really should. If they don't take it before test day, then they need to get a parent late quiz credit request, and they write me a note and they tell me why it was late, what their plan is so that it won't be late next time, and they include you in on the deal. And if they do all that, hopefully we're talking about having great success in learning a lot about physics. Oh, I forgot to mention there is a on the first page there's a scan code to sign in, and also if you want to ask me some questions, you had some questions about some things I talked over, you can post them there, or you can just email me as well. So, anyways, I love your students. I love talking about physics, and I hope they enjoy it, and hope we all have a great year. So, um, have a great back to school night.